Here are the best versus worst protein foods for weight loss on a carnivore diet. Hi, I'm Dr. Zaldivar, and I was featured on the first ever TV show on the carnivore diet called Reverse TV series. I've also lost and maintained 35 pounds, and I do personally follow the carnivore diet. I also quit my nutrition professor job at the University of Miami, Miami-Dade College, and other places so that I can reach a wider audience online where I could talk about things that we're not technically teaching in those big universities. Nobody's talking about the carnivore diet, unfortunately, and the research in this area has been very limited, but it's been picking up lately, and so I'm hopeful that more and more people will understand the power of a carnivore diet. All right, let's start with the worst protein foods on a carnivore diet. Number one, processed meats. So things like sausages, hot dogs, and salami. Yes, even bacon, specifically the store-bought bacon. Sure, it's meat and it doesn't have carbohydrates. However, a lot of times they will add preservatives, nitrates, and even seed oils. And in the case of store-bought bacon, a lot of brands will also add sugar. So if you're going to eat bacon on a carnivore diet from a store, then make sure you get the low sodium version, because those are the ones that don't have added sugar to them. And sugar in those processed meats usually goes under various names like dextrose or corn syrup solids. So it's not automatic that you can detect the term sugar in the ingredient list. So you really have to be very vigilant. There are over 52 different names for sugar that they can use. The second worst food for weight loss on a carnivore diet are the super fatty cuts of meat. So you don't really want to start eating all the picanhas and all of the ribeyes if your goal is to lose weight. There's a common myth amongst carnivores that calories somehow do not matter for weight loss. If you're doing carnivore diet, you're just gonna lose weight, and nothing could be further from the truth. And I have coached hundreds and thousands of clients to this point, and I can guarantee you that there are a lot of people who have actually gained weight when they went on a carnivore diet because they thought calories did not matter. Now, ideally, I do prefer to go towards fattier cuts of meat just for overall well-being and feeling good, and you can still lose weight doing that. But now you also have to make sure you're creating a caloric deficit. So you also want to be either intermittent fasting or working out or doing both. But here's the caveat. If you come from a food addiction background, and I'm talking really serious bouts with food addiction, both of those things, too much exercise too soon and too much fasting, can be very powerful triggers for cravings and a relapse. There is another loophole if you want to consume higher fat meats and still lose weight on a carnivore diet, and that is cutting out dairy. Because if you combine high fat steaks and high fat carnivore foods plus dairy, it is very, very difficult to create a calorie deficit to allow you to lose weight without plateauing for long stretches of time where you might lose your motivation. Another not so great carnivore food for weight loss would be carnivore protein powders. Not all protein powders that are labeled carnivore are good for you. Some of them will be spiked with collagen, which means you're not going to have an essential amino acid called leucine, which helps you put on muscle and maintain your muscle mass. Nothing wrong with having collagen protein powder, but if you're consuming a protein powder that's carnivore that you think is going to give you all of the essential amino acids, but it's spiked with collagen, then you might not be giving your body enough of a stimulus to maintain muscle and maintain a fast metabolism. Also, you want to be careful which brand you're getting because some of them do have fillers or preservatives. I personally like Equip protein powder, and you can use my code DrSarah15 to get 15% off on equipfoods.com. They have grass-fed beef and they have collagen protein powders. And the best part is that they don't contain sugar, gums, or fillers. All right, now what are the best high-protein carnivore foods for weight loss? Number one would be lean ruminant meat. So we're talking about sirloin, top round, eye of round. Or you can do ground beef that is on the leaner end of the scale. And as long as you don't add too much dairy to those meals, you should be able to lose weight very quickly that way. Number two would be eggs. Eggs are nutrient powerhouses. And again, as long as you don't smother them with melted cheese, then you're going to do really well in terms of feeling satisfied and creating a calorie deficit easily. Number 3, and this is controversial, chicken breast and turkey breast. Lean poultry is one of the easiest ways to create a caloric deficit. You can still add in a little bit of butter or beef tallow in order to give it a little bit of juiciness, but it's going to allow you to eat a lot of protein and more volume of food and not have to exercise as much to create that caloric deficit. And also, I filmed a separate YouTube video talking about how high in vitamin B3 or niacin poultry is as compared to all other kinds of carnivore foods. And niacin is really powerful in regulating your mood and preventing cravings and preventing you from reaching for things like carby, hyper palatable, or addictive foods. Number 4, organ meats like liver, but in moderation. You don't want to overdo organ meats, but once or twice a week is a good idea, around 3 ounces every time. Or if you don't like the taste of organ meats, you can throw in an organ supplement. I like Ancestral Supplements, and you can use my code Dr.Sarah10 to get 10% off ancestralsupplements.com. And another high protein and high collagen food for weight loss on a carnivore diet would be bone broth. The collagen in bone broth is very healing for your gut, and a lot of people who gravitate towards a carnivore diet are doing it in order to heal their gut, or they come from a history of eating high sugar, high carbohydrate, or high seed oil diets. And so you really want to encourage this gut healing to happen, and bone broth is going to facilitate that, and it's going to give you the hydration and the electrolytes that are also very helpful to regulate your mood and give you more energy. And to speed up your results on a carnivore diet, I highly recommend also working on raising your baseline dopamine levels. I have guides that teach you how to do that, specifically the 3 guides that are included under the fitness bundle. It has Dopamine Body, Dopamine Brain, and Monster Mindset. All 3 of them are going to help you create that caloric deficit and, more importantly, raise your baseline dopamine levels so that you are not craving foods that are not going to help you reach your goal. To learn more about the carnivore diet, I will send you a free copy of my guide, the 30-day Carnivore Diet Challenge Guide, when you sign up to my newsletter at drsarahzaldivar.com/newsletter. And for coaching, it's drsarahzaldivar.com/coaching. And we're starting a new group coaching at the end of this month. And so if you want to check out the details on that, it's drsarahzaldivar.com/group coaching. I will be leading the meetings, and we're going to talk about how you can stick to a carnivore diet, what to do about cravings, and how you can increase your chances of success on this kind of diet, and also how to lose weight easily. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you let me know by giving this YouTube video a thumbs up, subscribing to this channel, and hitting that little notification bell icon so YouTube alerts you every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.